This is a review of the Sprint USB 2.0 to SATA or IDE drive connector. It supports 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch hard drives. It also comes with a power supply and LED activity lights. Inside of the box, you'll find a power supply with a power cord, the USB to SATA or IDE converter, a SATA extender, instruction manual which is a little limited, it doesn't have much details in it, and a couple of power adapters for different types of older hard drives. Here's a converter to convert the connector that comes on the power supply to a SATA drive. If you've ever worked on computers, you know how useful this tool can be. The first thing that happens, or one of the most common things that happens, is that hard drives fail and people lose data, or they need to have them backed up quickly and transferred to a new computer. This way you can rip out a hard drive or a DVD player or CD player and plug it up and hook it up with this, connect it to the new computer or to your computer, and troubleshoot it. It makes it fast, easy, and safe. On this side of the connector you'll see a 1.8 to 2.5 inch IDE connector. On the other side you'll see a 5.25 inch IDE connector. And then here on the end is the data input for a SATA drive. Now this is going to be too big to connect, that's why you have this cable. So you plug it in, bring the bulk of the connector away, and now you got room to plug this into your SATA drive. Be a SSD drive. I'm going to flip it over here and plug in the data port, as you can see here. This is the power connector. I'm going to plug this in here. Now I want this drive to have power when I do my testing. And here you can see I have a power connector like you'd have in your computer. I would simply connect that up and plug this in, and now the drive is powered by its own power supply. Power supply is important because many drives consume a lot of power. If this were a common laptop hard drive, they can draw around 600 milliamps, and the larger 5.25 drives even more. If you're looking at something that burns DVDs, you need this power supply to power it. Well, I tell you, I had to dig in the archives to find one of these. This is an old IDE DVD dual layer burner. You can see here there's a key, and on a 5.25 inch drive the key is right here. That allows you to only plug this in one direction and make sure that it works. So now I've connected all the data communication and exchange for the IDE portion of the drive. Here you can see the power input for this DVD drive. This DVD drive operates off both 5 volts and 12 volts, and it takes 1.5 amps at 5 volts and 1.5 amps at 12 volts. That's why this power supply is so important. You just plug this in here, and now you've got this power supply to operate the drive. This is the back of the power supply that comes with the unit. Its output is 12 volts and 5 volts at 2 amps on each of the outputs. It operates on 110 to 240 volts AC and 50 to 60 hertz. This is nice to have because it allows you to use these more powerful drives so you can hook up even old-fashioned stuff to do testing and troubleshooting. This is the USB cable out of the converter. It has a cap on it. This is USB 2.0, but it is downward compatible to USB 1.1. At the top here you can see 3 LEDs. This blue one here is the USB activity light. This LED is the SATA activity light. And then this one here is the IDE activity light. Just to give an idea of the cable length, this USB cable is 27 inches. Here the SATA data and SATA power cables are 4 inches. The AC power cord is 48 inches long. The power cable is 30 inches long, and this accessory power cable is 8 inches long. This is an excellent tool to service any computer, but I have to warn you, many drives are electrostatic sensitive. Just make sure that you're not walking across carpet and discharging electricity into the drives. I usually take a static discharge bag and take the drive and lay it on top of that, and don't touch it while it's connected externally like this. The nice thing about this kind of setup is this one little connector handles about any kind of drive you're going to run across. And while it only has SATA inputs, it's not SATA 3 for example, at least you can read and write data, transfer it, save it, correct it, see if it's corrupted. It's a very useful tool. Here you can see the units wired up to a SATA drive. Again, it would do the same thing with a IDE drive. This happens to be an SSD drive. It's working fine. Could be a laptop drive, a mechanical drive, or a large 3.5 inch normal hard drive, up to 2 terabytes. You can see the USB light is active. When I plugged it in, all three lights lit up. The IDE light went out because nothing's plugged into the IDE ports, and the SATA port is lit. It was instantly recognized by the computer, and now I can work on somebody's drive, troubleshoot and transfer data to another drive, for example. Here you can see my speed test. I had a maximum write speed of 46,281 megabytes per second and a maximum read speed of 44,369 megabytes per second. That's pretty good for a USB 2.0 adapter port. This is a powerful and useful computer saving tool. You can attach any type of drive you like, basically, with all the technologies available of IDE and SATA, and it was fast and easy to connect, and the speed was pretty good. I rate this product at 5 stars. This review was done by JJ CEO. I'd like to tell you I was supplied a sample for test and evaluation, and I promise to give a fair and honest review.